Hello, everybody. I finally got around to seeing Suicide Squad, and I say finally because I have to be honest, I wasn't particularly enthusiastic about seeing this in the first place. I'd seen all the trailers. I know everyone was getting really hyped for this. Some of the trailers were making it out um, to look pretty good. I think for me personally, why I wasn't particularly looking forward to this is, um, whereas I did read a lot of comics when I was a kid, I don't follow comics anymore, so I don't really understand the DC and the Marvel lore deeply. I do understand it a little bit. So I didn't have deep knowledge of the Suicide Squad, and the concept just seemed a bit odd to me. You know, um, it seemed like a superhero rip-off of the Dirty Dozen. That's what it sounded like to me. So the concept wasn't selling it to me, even though some of the trailers were making it look pretty good. And I was intrigued by an awful lot of what was in the movie. How were they going to pull off Joker? And how was this team going to work? So I've seen it now. The basic premise of the film is pretty damn thin, really. They've got all these supervillains locked away safely, and it does show a little bit of backstory for some of them, especially Deadshot and Harley Quinn. You get more backstory on those. But basically, they got them all locked up, and Amanda Waller wants to turn them into like a team that can protect US soil as and when needs be because of the so-called metahumans. And there's a worry that if a metahuman as powerful as Superman comes along who doesn't share their values, then basically we're all in trouble. So they put this squad together, and basically one of them goes rogue, the Enchantress, who you can see on screen now. She goes rogue and she turns against the city, and that's when the Suicide Squad get called into action. They've got to stop her, and they've got to stop her destroying the city and potentially taking over the world. So that's the basic plot. It's pretty thin, um, but what's thinner for me is how they get this team to work together so quickly. I mean, you see scenes where they're trying to sell it to them, especially again Deadshot. They're trying to sell it to him, and and that's the only one I'm on board with. That's the only one I could ever understand helping them, because you do see his connection with his daughter, and you could see they would have that hook there. For the rest of them, they don't sell it at all, really, and it just doesn't make a lot of sense other than putting a bomb in the neck, saying, "Right, do as we say, or we're gonna blow your heads off." Um, so basically, they get the team together and they send them out into the city, and they've got to work together with Joel Kinnaman's character, Flag, to take down the Enchantress, and that's pretty much it. Um, and it is a fairly strong start. I did enjoy the first 15-20 minutes. Um, when they actually get into the city, I think that's kind of when it falls flat a little bit. Um, they fight these CGI faceless things that the Enchantress has created out of people. Um, there's a bit of bonding between them. You can see I'm stretching here a bit because once they get into the city, that's I think if they'd have nailed that part, I think they'd have had a really, really brilliant film on their hands. Because they didn't nail that part, they've got a good start to a movie that ends up being fairly by the numbers by the end, um, which is a shame really, because there was awful lot of potential there. But saying that, there are some great performances in the movie. I think um, Margot Robbie, who plays Harley Quinn, was outstanding. I mean, really, really, very good indeed. And I would be interested in a solo movie for her. Will Smith is fine as Deadshot. He's Will Smith. He really nails that. Um, And the other members of the Suicide Squad, not so much, really. They're very forgettable, I think. And the elephant in the room, I suppose, is Jared Leto's Joker. What do I think of his performance? It was okay, but there wasn't enough of him in the movie to make a real judgment on it. But I wasn't completely sold on the direction he took the Joker in. It felt more like a gangster who was pretending to be insane, rather than being insane, if that makes sense. So I'm not sold on him yet, but I'd like to see some more of him in upcoming DC movies. So for me, I think Suicide Squad is okay. It's nowhere near as bad as maybe some of the early reviews would have you believe. It is okay. It's not the strongest DC movie yet. I think that's still Man of Steel. But I think Batman vs Superman is better than this. But it is enjoyable. There are some good moments in it. And I do think it was partially a success. But I think they could have done far more with the movie, especially the last 40 minutes.